Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. Last night was an absolute tragedy in our city. What took place last night is completely and totally unacceptable. And the people here behind me are committed to doing everything possible to find the perpetrators and prosecute them. This has no place in our city, period. The gun violence we are seeing in our communities cannot and will not persist, and we will continue to work hard to prevent gun violence in the future. My heart goes out to the victims and their families, and I thank God that there were no fatalities last night. And that is because our police officers responded with heroic and immediate action. Thank you to them once again for answering the call and saving lives. And thank you for working through the night, through this morning, to investigate this crime and to provide updates to the community. Thank you to the other first responders who stabilized victims and transported them to the hospitals. As more information becomes available, we will provide updates to the public and to the media. Up next, I'd like Colonel John to give you an update, including new information, and after that, we'll hear from John Kerp, our interim city manager, council member Scotty Johnson, and then we'll take your questions. Colonel.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here to cover this. I think most of you have the information that we released earlier this morning. So this occurred at 1:38 a.m. At the intersection of Main Street and Woodward. Now, we had officers on scene when this evolved. We had additional patrols working through our civil disturbance response team and our SWAT team. They were working in conjunction with senior command staff members. We've had lots of crowds in Main Street through this past month to 6 weeks, so we've beefed up patrol. So it's important to know that this happened in front of officers. Our officers acted without hesitation. They acted precisely. They were diligent in what they did, courageous. I commend those officers. They showed tremendous restraint in their actions. And then they immediately responded to those who were suffering from gunshots and administered medical aid. They made it safe for fire to come in. They worked with our emergency communications section to make sure that we rendered service to these individuals. So unfortunately, we had a total of 9 people struck by gunfire. They range in age from 23 to 47. We had 8 males and 1 female. So right now I can tell you that we had 1 shooter that we engaged. We fired a single shot at that individual. That individual fled the scene. So we're still looking to contact that person. Anyone that has information about this individual, there is somebody out there that knows who this person is. Now, following that exchange of gunfire, when that individual left the scene, there were more shots fired south on Main Street. So we know we have at least 2 people firing. So right now, that's pretty much all we have. Please know, as the mayor said, we've had officers working diligently around the clock, people in this building here, the criminal investigation section working tirelessly, our PIO, everybody responding, and my thanks go to all the officers that responded. This is a day where I'm very proud of the Cincinnati police officers, our response. You should be proud of your first responders in the city of Cincinnati, police, fire, and ECC. So at this point, I'll hand it over to Mr. Kerp. So I think that what I'm asked to share with you is the name of the officer that discharged one round. It's Officer Joe Shook. He's assigned to our traffic unit. Joe started with us in January of 2016. So he was part of the civil disturbance response team. He was out there with his partner. And again, he acted immediately. He ran toward the gunfire. But for the actions of him, we can only imagine what type of injuries would have to people. There is no question that the actions of Officer Joe Shook and his partner saved lives. No question. So at this point, I'll hand it over to the senior manager, Mr. John Kirk.
Thank you, Colonel. Of course, my comments echo those of the mayor. Solving disputes with guns is a danger to all of us. But I especially want to thank the men and women of the police department, in particular Officer Shook and his partner, whose immediate response saved lives. I also want to recognize District 1 Commander Hammer, along with CDRT Captain Henning, who did an outstanding job in managing the scene and coordinating with our fire services last night to be sure that critical aid could get there immediately. And then also I want to give a special thanks to Captain Steve Saunders, who was our night chief, as well as responsible for coordinating our investigation last night. It's been a long day and night for him and for all of us, and I want to thank him especially for his work today. Next, I believe Councilmember Johnson has a few words.
Thank you. It's been said, but let me reiterate. This type of behavior is absolutely uncalled for and unacceptable in the city of Cincinnati. I am calling for personal accountability in this city. We want everybody to have a good time and enjoy our city. We want everybody to come downtown and have a good time. But personal accountability has to trump these ridiculous, outlandish beefs that are going on in our city. Personal accountability, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I'm asking for. The men and women of the Cincinnati Police Department and the Fire Department, ECC, as it's already been mentioned, public services, they give it their all every single day to serve the citizens of Cincinnati. The citizens of Cincinnati, the people that live in OTR, the people that live around Main Street, the owners of the business around there do not deserve this. They don't deserve this. And it's a very few that make it bad for everybody. So personal accountability, I'm calling and asking for that. If you see something, say something. It is not snitching. It's a matter of everybody in Cincinnati being safe and enjoying our great city. So to those that want to continuously come into our downtown and cause these problems, and like I said, it's very few, I pray, and I mean this, that every measure of law that you meet when we catch up with you, when the Cincinnati police catch up with you, you just have to face that. You just have to face that because you are making it unsafe for everybody in this city. Let me commend the men and women of the Cincinnati Police Department, the Cincinnati Fire Department, Public Works that had to clean up all that mess. We are a better city than this. And personal accountability and those that are trying to disrupt this great city, you're not going to get away with it. I do thank God, and we prayed in church this morning that it didn't turn out worse than what it was. But now it's time for personal accountability and for people to step up. And when you see ridiculous things like that, say something. But to the men and women and the city workers that did an outstanding job, thank you and continue to try to do what you do every day.